Said I got a story to tell. You don't hear me. Said I got a story about a girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night typing this love letter. Hoping you open the message saying I love you better. You've been keeping me on red. I know I'm out the picture. Ain't nothing worse than the wave, just a request. I started on a nigga wave like a drop by. Saw you out, so I figured out I'd say hi. Ain't no pressure, just want a good time. Something we get to share up on a timeline. She's my type of girl. Magic carpet around the world. She'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair or fancy curl, white as diamonds, clutch as pearls. She's my one and only digital girl. My sunshine in the rain. Sunshine in the rain. My sunshine in the rain. Oh, mama, my. My sunshine in the rain. Sunshine in the rain.
First we outside, you beaming your light, giving me shades of dope. Now I'm walking in pools of water, my Yeezy. So you had a faith that get Jesus hope, but the devil is pleased. I'm on my knees, I intercede for our peace. Girl, your love is the antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays in the finest museums. You shining like discos, but who knew that through the fire hard to grow this froze? Unwrap your envelope, baby, let's disclose. I don't beat around bushes, no babe, I don't tiptoes. Not a ballerina, but I see balances drop jaws from your spoken words that rain dancing in tip jars. I applaud you, but these problems we face feeling so colossal. You put shovels of dirt digging in my fossils. Every hurt I try and fix, you say I scarred you. I've dropped dimes before, don't tell me that I lost you. It's two sides to every coin, and every road's gonna have its thorns. I'm creasing these stems, my palms bleed. Maybe your rain can rinse these stains from these leaves, cause I still need
My sunshine in the rain. My sunshine in the rain. Sunshine. My sunshine in the rain. Yeah. My sunshine in the rain.
Do you wanna go to a place? I wanna go to a place. Do you wanna go
can take you there. I can take you there. Do you wanna go? Go to a place. I can take you there. Say do you wanna go? To a place.
Search far and wide by your side. Far and wide by your side. Search far and wide.
Good morning, sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews. I appreciate you all stopping by and whoever is going to join me this morning. It has been a minute. It has been a minute since I've done a live. And yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I've been doing my little shorts on TikTok and have been sharing them with you. And interestingly enough, I actually wanted to do this a while back ago, but hey, life happens. So before I do it, for those who have been rocking with me, if you will, I always start with the announcement. So welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph, and I say mosaic because I am a work of art made of many broken pieces. The announcements, I want to shout out to my baby, my hardworking trucker man, Mr. Randolph, who's traveling these highways and the byways, keeping the supply chain moving. I want to shout out my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, who you heard on his song this morning, Sunshine and Rain, and on the intro. Now you can follow him under Spunk Adams on all streaming platforms. Yes, that is my firstborn nephew, my child before I had a child. Let's see what else we got. So here we are. I want to thank you all for getting me over 2,000. As a matter of fact, right now I'm at a little over 2,500. It has been a minute. It's been a slow build, if you will, because I started my YouTube channel in May of 2021. And so it's been a slow build, the ebb and the flow. But I appreciate I'm at 2,500. And I'm going to tell you something. What's really seems to have gotten me over the hump, if you will, is some recent videos, some recent shorts that I have done concerning us women's in general, but our Black women specifically. Many of you have agreed with what I've said, but then there have been some that don't agree, and that is fine. But everything I do, in as much as it is criticism, as it is the intent is love. The intent is love because I want us to do better. And for those who have stated, you're just another Black woman talking bad about Black women. Okay, I will say that. But my question would be is, what pleasure do you think I get out of that? What pleasure do you think that I get out of watching us do the things that we do? What pleasure do you think I get out of that? It gives me none. It saddens me. Good morning, Lorenzo. It saddens me. And forgive me if I want better for us and I expect more from us. So forgive me. But I stand on it. I stand on it. And I'm going to continue to call out what I consider to be bad behavior, because whether you all believe it or not, it is a reflection on all of us. And I think that's one of the things that makes many in my generation, not all, many in my generation and the preceding generations like that, is because we realized that. We realized it. We realized that, you know, the opportunities we got or received was because somebody else paid for it. And we felt that we owed them to act like we had some sense. Oh, you didn't miss anything, sweetheart. I'm just, right now it's just, I think me, you, and maybe one other person. But you didn't miss anything. I'm just kind of just getting it started. But, we realize that. And many of us, because it goes back to how you're raised, many of us knew, even if we were poor people, okay, we knew that we were not to bring any shame to our family. We knew that. We knew we were not to bring any shame to our family. And regrettably, that is something I don't think has been passed down to subsequent generations. I don't. Because, I often talk about my grandfather. You know that. I talk about my grandfather, who is behind me on this wall, World War II veteran. I don't even know if he, what his education level was. Never asked. But even after he's been gone since 2002, and what I do with my life, even now, I don't want to bring shame to that name. I don't want to bring shame to the Jones name. I don't want to bring shame to the Randolph name, because now I am Mrs. Randolph. Yeah, I don't. So, I'm going to speak on it because, again, I also realize there are some people, men and women, who don't have people to speak into their lives. And for some, to hear words of wisdom, whether you like it or not, wisdom, counsel, life experiences, this may be all they get. It's kind of like when they talk about Christians. Most oftentimes, people are not going to go to church, but they see the Christ in you. And that may lead them to say, well, maybe let me look a little bit more into this Christ thing, because they see the Christ-like in you. So in this case, as it relates to trying to set positive examples, maybe some women and or men didn't have them. So they may see it in me, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So I hope for those of you who are joining me, do you'll have your coffee or your tea? I'm drinking out of my Mosaic mug. Yes, I am. I'm drinking out of my Mosaic mug. So I'm at 2,500, y'all. Hush, that's my dog. Let me go. Let me handle him for a second. So I do want to talk about a couple of things. I have some things on my list that I wanted to cover, and I won't be before you long because I'm gonna get my day started. My life of service. And I was thinking about that. Thank you, Mr. Redmond. I was thinking about that because it started long before this here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I look in these internets and I see behavior, and I'm going to focus on women because what? I'm a woman. I'm a Black woman. Okay. So when I look at these in these internets and I see us acting a donkey, and then when you try to bring it to somebody's attention, they say, mind your own business. No. Because I think about if I would have minded my own business. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm glad you asked. And that caused me to think about my life of service. And it could be because I was a child that needed somebody pouring into me. Okay. So in college, because y'all know I'm from a single mom, as what they used to call a teenage unwed mother. That's what they called them back then. So when I was in college, I was a big sister, big brother, big sister. I was a big sister to a young little girl who was a single mom. I mean, well, the girl wasn't a single mom, but her mother was a single, she was born to a single mother. So I wanted to expose her to different things. So I became a big sister. And at that time I'm in college, so I obviously didn't have no money. Didn't have no real money, but I had time. I had time. I invested my time in this young lady. Her name is Portia. I'll never forget. And I have pictures of her bringing her to the University of Oklahoma, exposing her to different things to let her know what it was possible for her, despite her upbringing. I was in college. Okay. Hey, Marcus. Then single mother myself. My daughter's a toddler by this time. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm in ROTC. I done told you about that. One of my jobs was at an alternative school. Y'all know what alternative schools are? For bad kids. I was a drill instructor for an alternative school for kids between the grades of sixth grade and eighth grade. Single mom myself. My daughter was a toddler. I was in ROTC. But I took a special interest in this young man. Dang, I forgot his name though. Who needed additional help. So I kind of adopted him as my nephew and poured into him books and all those kinds of things. Angry all the time. But I showed him love. Gangbanger. What? Gangbanger, but I showed him love. Single mom. Let's take it a step further, shall we? When I was a single mother, my daughter was in high school and she came to me. I think I've seen him on my show before, my adopted nephew, Lamont. How I opened up my home to him because he was about 2 years behind in high school because what? His mom put so much responsibility on him as a young teenager himself, taking care of his younger siblings. He fell behind in school, so dropped out. I said, My daughter said, Mom, can he come stay with us? He came and stayed with us. I told him, I said, these are the rules of this house. You will study for your GED at least 2 to 3 hours a day. You will get a job. You will do this. He had no clothes. The only thing he brought with him was a little backpack. I took him to the thrift store and bought him a whole new wardrobe and got it dry cleaned and everything. First time he had ever had a tie. Why? I invested in this young man. What is he doing now? I'm glad you asked. He did get his GED. He did go off into the Army because he wanted to be a soldier. Okay, let's go one more again, shall we? While I was I was out of the military by this time. I'm still single mama now. We single moms do some good stuff. I wanted to volunteer my time. So I found this house. I think it was called Borough Mail House in Virginia. I don't know if it's still open. A house where teenage mothers lived. So because I was in a profession where I taught resume writing, interview skills, how you present, what you wear to interviews, that's how I donated my time. And many of these young girls, they didn't have no money. So what did I do? I believe in a thrift store now. I went to a thrift store. It was about 6 of these young women. I spent about $300-400 because I wanted their sizes and got them all new wardrobes of things that they could wear to interviews and things that they could just wear out looking decent. That's time. So it only makes sense that I have lived a life of service, not just the military. It's what I give to others. So it does upset me when I see selfishness from these flea males. It upsets me. It upsets me because going back to my nephew Lamont, he's called me many a times and not talking to me about some of the relationships. I'm like, no, kick her. Kick her. Cut. Nip it. Where am I? Barty Fife. Nip it. It bothers me. And the reason why it bothers me, because there are some good girls who reap the misfortune of the flea males who came before them. What? What? Yeah. So like I said, forgive me if I want better for us, women, Black women specifically. Forgive me if I have higher expectations for us. Forgive me. But I ain't stopping. I ain't stopping. I'm not stopping. I hope y'all got your coffee or tea. I happen to see, since we're talking about this, I happen to see portions of my Niecy Pooh Lucky Marie's show last night. So we're going to, I told her I was going to react to some of it. Okay. And you all know, I talked about the Cheesecake Factory lady, and they say it was a skit, whatever. If it was, or okay, cute. But there are plenty who act like that. And many have said to me, well, how do you know? Well, okay, it's anecdotal, but I'm inclined to believe if it's anecdotal for me, some other people around the country have anecdotal experiences that are similar to what I'm sharing. When my nephews, many of them were in high school, they would talk about how mean the Black girls were, how superficial they were. Yeah. So it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from somewhere. But what's interesting, every person who has been married in the comments, who have been married for several years, they said their first dates were like at bowling alleys, IHOP, ice cream, coffee, walking on the park, walking on the park. Nothing expensive. Nothing expensive. But after that, they've shared stories of many elegant experience, fine dining experiences, trips. But their first dates were very humble experiences. First dates. So that in and of itself lets me know that some of y'all ain't in it to win it. Y'all ain't in it to win it. Y'all are not in it to win it. And because you're not in it to win it, I'm going to tell the men, move around. Move around. Because just as much as I am not here for the men who have taken advantage of many women, myself included, I allowed it, but myself included, I'm not here for the women taking advantage of the men. I'm not here for it. It's not, there's no justification for it. None. So I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at this. Let's see here. Hush, Duke. Hush, Duke, Duke. Hush. Okay, so we see this is just where she's going to talk about first dates. So we're going to talk about it. And if anybody wants to join me, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in. You don't have to, but if you want to, but unless I know you, you're gonna have to cam up. So that's a real deal right there. Okay. What am I doing? Okay. So if anyone wants to join me, again, you don't have to, but if you like to, and if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer depending on what the question is. Okay, so let's go. Okay.
Of the first date were acceptable, right? So let's say there are places women absolutely refuse to go on first dates. The burger. We have the Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's. Let me take this down. Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, Your House. I definitely agree with Your House. Yeah, not Your House. I agree. Okay, let's go down. Do you agree with Cheesecake Factory? No, I don't agree with that. I think the Cheesecake Factory is a perfect first date. Ambiance is always great. Food, decently priced. I think that's a great price. I'm big on ambiance too. Applebee's, I don't do that on the regular. Okay, yeah, Applebee's. Chili's, like these three in a row is what you get like from shopping at the mall. Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle. Like, I don't even eat Chipotle. Yeah, I don't even eat that.
It's food. It's food. Okay. See, I think what we're missing here, and I'm gonna get into it. It's the first date is not. It's about the getting to know the person. Yeah, it's ridiculous to me, and I'm gonna tell you. Well, we're gonna get into it.
First date, I think if you're 18, you can go to Chili. Yes. Not on grown ass women. Olive Garden, they don't even season their salt. I mean, I get it. But then you have the movies. I don't know. You against the movies? For a first date, specifically, I'm against the movies. Because you can't really talk to them. So I don't think you should go to nobody's house if you're just getting to know each other.
Okay, I agree. Nobody's house, but dinner and a movie. Again, I keep saying me and Mr. Randolph, dinner, and then a movie. Okay.
But that shouldn't be chain. You're just out of line to go. But you, the Chris Brown take you to McDonald's. Yeah. Because Chris Brown is my weak point. Chris Brown can take you anywhere. I don't care. Chris Brown is my weak point.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. And I know she's just, jesting, but maybe she's serious. So I will say this. In my experience, I have had men, specifically my ex-husband, who bought me and took me to a lot of nice restaurants. But to say that he treated me well, I'm not sure I would say that. Now, I'm not going to say everything was his fault. I'm not going to say that. But does it necessarily equate to how they will treat you on a larger scale, on a consistent basis? I'm inclined to say no, or I'm inclined to say it depends. So Chris Brown could take her to McDonald's because he's rich, okay? But who's to say what kind of person he would be to you or her? And we're all speculating here. But I think sometimes we put too much into the place and not the person. Let's go.
So you will go to a fast food place on the first day. It depends on who takes you. No. I'm only talking. And you know Chris Brown can take you somewhere better, so you accept McDonald's. What's your favorite? You accept. You know, when you put it like that, that's funny. So no, I still wouldn't accept that even from my report. That's crazy. Anything with wings is out. So Buffalo Wild Wings and Wingstop got some nasty fries. Red Lobster, same thing as Applebee's. Red Lobster is for old people. Like that's kind of like where you went on your 8th grade graduation. You know.
I told Lucky I was gonna go with. Like, yeah, because I'm old. But I would. Yes, I would go there on the first date. I would. You know, again, my goal is to get to know the person. You know, and like I said, a lot of times it's not that men are adverse to going to certain places, but some of them that just may not have been their experience. Because a lot of times men are pretty simple. It is us that we go to brunches with our friends and all these things. So a lot of times men are pretty simple. They are. You know, Mr. Randolph said he could eat cornbread and beans and corn every day. And he would if I let him. No. But many of the restaurants we've gone to since we've been together, some of which he has never been to, but by being together and getting to know what I like, he has surprised me on many occasions at restaurants I hadn't been to. Because he knows me, he knows what I like. So you see what I'm talking about here? You see where I'm going with this? It's not that they may be adverse to it. They just may not have been experienced it, have experienced it yet. Because Mr. Randolph will tell you there's some places that we went to that he had never gone to before, and he tried certain foods that he hadn't had before. That's what we are doing for each other. If the goal is not just a date and a dinner, if the goal is to get to know the person, okay, let's go.
But they do. I don't know. You would say no for buffet? I would say that's a buffet. I would go to, and I usually don't like buffets. But you know, here in Vegas, for first date, they have nice buffets. Where? There's one at the like there's one at the Wynn, especially the Wynn. I haven't been to the Wynn buffet. I know the Caesars buffet, but regardless, they all look the same. I mean, unless we on civil life. But you don't like the look. Yeah, no, I don't like it. But you'll go to a fast food restaurant and sit in the car. I said only with Chris Brown. Okay. Okay. The gym.
Okay, we got to talk about IHOP because again, one of the people in my comments stated that their first date was at IHOP not because he couldn't afford anything more, but because it was late when he got off work or something like that, and he wanted a place that was safe that they could go to and have time to talk. And they've been married 14 years. 14 years. You know what? You got a good point. You got a good point. Lorenzo says the money is not coming out of their pocket. So why the lust? You know, I'm with you. I will agree. You have a good point there.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about church. Now, generally, if you're having conversations ahead of time, you will know if you are spiritually connected. You'll know that. You'll know that. But see, that's a problem with many of y'all. Y'all ain't talking. Y'all texting and DMing. Y'all ain't talking. Y'all ain't talking. You're texting and DMing. No worries, Lorenzo. You're texting and DMing, so you're not talking. But again, me and Mr. Randolph, our third date was church. But again, it could have been the first date because we knew we were spiritually aligned. Okay, let's go.
You go to Starbucks on the first. What are you? That's not. For a first date. I have to remember this date. First date. No.
Okay, so can we change a Starbucks as a first date to a meet and greet? What's wrong with a meet and greet at Starbucks? What's wrong with a meet and greet at Starbucks? Again, if the goal is to get to know the person and look them in the eyeball and get a vibe, as y'all say, what's wrong with a meet and greet at a Starbucks? You know what's funny? Many people will have interviews at Starbucks, not necessarily for Starbucks jobs, but just in general, for a company that is going to pay you, right? So if the man is paying for the outing, the man is still paying you, and it's still an interview that you ain't got to pay for. All you got to just show up. So you would do a meet and greet for a job interview if they say, let's meet at Starbucks for a job interview. But you wouldn't do a meet and greet for an interview of somebody that could possibly be instrumental in your life. See, we have our priorities mixed up, youngins. We do. We have our priorities mixed up, youngins.
No, we're not 12.
Ice cream, yes. No, I'm not 12, but you know what? Let me tell you something. The reason why you see the youth in my face, I have some wrinkles, but not a lot, is because Mr. Randolph brings out the inner child in me. We laugh. We joke. So no, it's, and see, that's the problem sometimes too. Y'all take life too seriously for stuff that should not matter. Like this. But stuff that does not matter, you make a big deal of. I mean, vice versa is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Mr. Randolph, we bring out the inner child in each other. So no, I'm not 12, but I like ice cream. I like an ice cream cone. I like a sundae. See, some of y'all, not here, but I have seen. Oh, let me put my warmer on. I forgot what I was gonna say. That's that 56 creeping up on me. Some of y'all have said, yes, I remember now. Well, things are different now. Things are different now because, why should we have to want something simple like that? Things are different now. Just because they're different don't mean they're better. I'm gonna say that again. Just because things are different doesn't mean they're better. I think about dates again of my youth, and even hearing some of the dates of my mom's youth, meeting at soda shops, for ice cream, picnics at the park. The walks along the beach. Movies, drive-ins. We ain't doing drive-ins, but sometimes simple is better because it gives you an idea of what truly matters to the person, the heart of the person, because there's going to be time for grand gestures. But should a grand gesture necessarily be on the first date? Why? Are you trying to get to know them or their wallet? So yeah, I'd meet for ice cream. As a matter of fact, even though he was a fool, the one who put his hands on me, we met for ice cream and walked along the park. Sure did. It's a meet and greet. It's a meet and greet. Let's go.
Movie night, no, that's pleasure house. Somewhere that remember we said somewhere that requires a long drive. This is the thing. If you're somewhere like in LA where you have to go to the marina and you're driving, or you want to maybe Malibu, because they do have a Nobu in Malibu. And so you driving down PCH, you have good conversation, some low music, you getting to have.
Let me tell you why that's not a good idea in this time, in this day and time, which is interesting to me because back when I was that age and younger, we would have men that would pick us up and we'd go out to dinner and stuff like that. And we didn't have social media and all that kind of stuff. You would think it'd have been more dangerous then. But it's actually either it's more dangerous now, or we're just hearing about it more because of social media. Who knows? But for first dates, I ain't getting in the car driving with you nowhere. I don't know you like that yet. Because we've already talked about on these internets, people are perpetrating very serious frauds here on these internets. So no, I'm not getting in the car going nowhere with you on the first date. I'll meet you. No. So I understand the ambiance and the conversation, but not for first dates. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because first date means what? You're meeting the person in person. If you want to, I'm sorry, we have human trafficking, we have grape, we have all kinds of stuff. No, Nisi Poo. No.
What's wrong with that? That's a different situation because the long drive is not the date is destination.
No, honey. No, January. No. It's the experience, sweetheart. It's the entire experience. Even though let's get past the first date, maybe third, fourth, fifth date. The drive is part of the date. It's not the destination. It's oh Lord, we in trouble, y'all. And no offense to January, and a lot of things I've told you all, I think a lot of your viewpoints are based on your myopic view of life, which is understandable. But no, the date is all of it. All of it. Let's go.
It just so happens that you guys. I don't know. Definitely, I'm for bowling, so I don't know. I'm for bowling. I don't do nightclubs, hookah bar, anywhere with loud music. We can't have conversation.
I agree.
A bar for drinks is something I would do for a first date. So let's say this. Do you agree with the Waffle House? No. All right. So I got a video.
This is like next level. This is like top. Like, let me know how much I love Waffle House.
Hey, bro.
Okay, this is what for sure. They list everything that's everything.
I know that pregnant belly wants some waffles and some eggs.
Yeah, you know.
See, y'all play too much.
So this is my thing. That's not the first date, right? But I think so. If it's the first date, somebody was able to rent it out. I think that would be it. It'll show effort. And I've never been to the Waffle House at all. I see a lot of ghetto parties there. But I do need to know, like, just for me, like on the first day, I getting to know the person. I feel like today women put a lot of expectations and a lot of energy into where they go. Now, I think that is important because it shows what that person thinks of you, their interest in you, if they're trying to impress you. I definitely think a person should be trying to impress each other on the date. But in today, I just feel like it would be dumb for men to take women out on $200 dates, and women are really just bragging about, oh, he about to come take me here. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? You really don't know.
I think this came from that though. I think this came from women being spoiled and expecting to be treated like you were just about to say, expecting to be treated to these expensive dates when you're not.
Let's talk about it. These women are attention whores. Attention whores, gold diggers. Like I said, many women who want to perpetrate this foolishness don't even take themselves to nice restaurants like that. So here's the thing. I'm going to treat myself far better than what somebody else is going to treat me like. So if I'm not going to take myself to a nice restaurante, but I'm going to expect you to, why would I expect you to treat me better than I treat myself? See, this is the problem with y'all. This is the problem with y'all. That's why many of y'all gonna be by your damn self, and that's okay if that's what you want. But let me tell you what I'm telling the men in my family. Nip it. Don't be no fool. Don't be no fool. Okay, Lorenzo's asking me, did you notice on the video with the Cheesecake Factory lady got in that car and she didn't know him and wanted him? Yeah, but see, here's the thing they're talking about, and who knows? They're saying that this was a skit. Okay, if it's a skit, but it's not a skit for everybody. It's not a skit for everybody. And there are some who act that way. And like I said, it gives me no pleasure to admit that. It's actually embarrassing. And people don't understand, well, why you got secondhand embarrassment? Because I'm a Black woman who raised a Black daughter, who has Black nieces, who has Black granddaughters. And whether you flea males realize it or not, based on this kind of behavior, a lot of times men will address other women in such fashion based on your conduct. I'm sorry. It's the truth. It's the truth. Let's go.
That expensive type of pitch. You're not that. Why do you feel like you should be wine and dine? You don't even wine and dine yourself.
Oh, I just said that.
Expectation, you expect somebody else to, because of social media. Because that's what the social media, that's what the model girl on Instagram is getting. So you think you should get that too. Because come on now, this list is ridiculous.
Everybody wants to be a star. It used to be back in the day, you know, everybody went to Los Angeles because they were City of Angels. So they thought they were going to be a star or New York. But now, because of social media, everybody wants to be a star, lying and perpetrating frauds all day long. Perpetrating frauds.
Like she said, yeah, most of the stuff is like, but see, when we talking about the first date, usually today you should be having conversation before you get to the first date. Right. So if there's conversation, you kind of know whether or not you want to go out with this person. For it to be all this type of issues with being with these people or trying to take them out, oh, you should take me here. It just shows you your focus is not on getting to know the person. It's more so about the type of date. I deserve a prime rib. I deserve all this type of stuff.
You deserve a prime rib if you buy it on the first date. Don't be no fool. But see, here's the thing. I done told y'all before. Y'all major in the minor, meaning you focus on where the guide takes you to determine whether or not, it's living up to your standards. So that's minor. But you minor in the major, meaning you don't think very little of sucking somebody off after the first date, after you done had some drinks, per my other video, or sleeping with them on the first date. Because if they take you to a fancy restaurante. Wrong. Y'all thinking about it all wrong. And the reason why I say it's okay for y'all, because see, my daughter's married. My bonus daughters are married. My sister's married. Think about this foolishness. Because y'all crazy. Let's go.
Like, you might deserve those. The type of person who's even asking these type of has these expectations. But do you? When's the last time you took yourself out to somewhere more expensive than Cheesecake Factory? Come on now.
But okay, so do you think that women should only date men that her financial capacity of what she can do for herself?
I think that we should only be asking for what we can offer.
That's interesting.
Okay, so then you agree with the whole. So if she can only pay, let's say they want to go to pick a five-star restaurant.
Capital Grill.
Maestros.
Okay, so you want to go there. I can only afford 50% of this check. So should I be okay with paying 50-50 on Dutch?
No, I'm not saying that. No. No.
But you can only you should.
I would never order something I can't afford. However, I don't agree with that. We're both here. If you invited me here, then you should be able to pay for me. However, I'm not gonna somehow not be.
Okay, so let's talk about subsequent dates. Because I think that's probably why I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking about what I want to talk about. Some of the best dates I've had were dates that were not necessarily at restaurants. They were dates where the guy had planned it out. There's one in particular, a guy that I was dating, and it didn't work out, but we managed to be friends even years later, because as a matter of fact, him and my daughter are still friends because he's the first guy I dated after having my daughter. Taught my daughter how to drive, all that kind of stuff. Wasn't a great boyfriend, but a great father influence for my daughter at that time. Well, it was for my 30th birthday. I came home and he left. It was a scavenger hunt. When I got home, there was something in my mailbox telling me that what he had planned for me to wear was on my bed. Okay. So I get to the bed and to see what I'm supposed to wear. Then the next thing is a note that tells me to go to this place to get this, which I do. Then it's another note that says to go to this place to meet him at his house because we're going to dinner. Okay, I'm all dressed up. And so when I get to his house, I walk in. He has this beautiful table set up, candle lit, music playing. He had prepared dinner and had gifts and flowers. That was tremendous for me. I thought that was so thoughtful. Much more. I mean, yeah, he could have took me to a nice restaurant. He was a pilot. But the thought that it took to do that was impressive to me. That was impressive to me. Y'all missing the mark. Now, I'm not necessarily saying, I mean, that might be a good first date. But see, some of y'all trollops will turn your nose up at that. And what I mean might be a good first date is, you know, has a date planned for you, maybe a nice picnic or something like that on the beach, and it's all candlelit. You trollops will turn your nose up at that. Hey, Niecy Pooh. You trollops will turn your nose up at that, not realizing the creativity and the thought that it would take to put something like that together. Y'all done. Y'all done. That's all I got on that. Y'all done. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, do you hear me now? I'm 56, right? He did that for me when I was 30. 26 years ago, I still remember that. Okay? I still remember that. So you all are missing the mark. And it's funny because some of the people who have commented, who've been married for many years, who had these very simple first dates at IHOP and, for some other places, but very simple places. They remember their first dates and where they were because of the experience, not how much they spent. The experience of getting to know that person that would ultimately be their life's partner. Because that's what they were looking for. Not just somebody to say, oh, he took me here. Y'all attention whores got me messed up. Got me messed up. Everybody got to see. Why? Why? And y'all perpetrating frauds. And the reason why I say that, because if y'all life was as great as y'all portend, y'all wouldn't be offing y'allself in the numbers that you are. Because when we talk about the terminations of life, it ain't my age group and up. It's 40 and under. I'm serious. Look them up for yourself. Look the stats up for yourself. And y'all the ones who perpetrating how great y'all life is all the time. Lying, scamming, scheming. Lying, I said. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else I got on this.
But if you should be able to date somebody that can do what you can do, and you can't even afford your own plate, then we shouldn't be here at this restaurant, right? Because he can't even he can only, so y'all should go somewhere like a movie, right? If that's what he can afford.
Okay, so let's take it back to, and then one of the guy who stated in my comments that him and his wife met 14 years ago at IHOP for all the reasons that I shared. And he wrote in the comment, at this time, I think his wife was making almost 150K. He was compared to his 50K. Fast forward 14 years, they have their own business. He has almost bringing in 200K a year. They've gone on many trips, a lot of fine dining. They've built this family. Why? Because that woman was majoring in the minor, meaning put emphasis on getting to know him and not where they met for their first date, because the first date, the locality was minor. She was majoring in the minor. Well, did I say that right? Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Okay, so focusing on the things that meant something, not focusing on the things that meant little. And 14 years later, they still together. All right. So it's it's been an hour. So that's all I got. Thank you all for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. And thank you all for taking me to 2,500, over 2,500. I appreciate it because it means that something that I say, you find value in it. Whether it is, entertainment, whether it is infotainment, whether it is edutainment, you find some value in it. And I appreciate that. So I'm about to get my day started. I finished my coffee. Thank you all who stopped by to congratulate me. Thank you, brother Uncle Stu. Appreciate you. Tell Brown Eyes I said hey. So that's all I got. That's all I got. I thank you all. I'm on TikTok and I'm here. I'll probably do some what am I gonna do? Some uploads. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna do some uploads. So I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, and until next time, ciao for now.